Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In this week's video, we are going to take a look at the new firmware on the Melbourne Instruments Nina. Honestly, this kind of changes the whole synth for me. It went from being a really good, really solid sort of sound design, really good pads and leads and stuff like that, to more of a like, not experimental, but more of something that you can kind of dig into and get more happy accidents. And by that, I'm meaning the new update has given it 4 tracks of sequencing. So we have 12 voices in here. We can distribute them any way we please to get the 12 voices. And yeah, I find it's really, really good. So it comes with, you can hit up the people at Nina. You can get this fancy little like magnetic overlay, or if you manage to run into them at a convention, you can grab one off them there. But again, they'll send that out for free. So let's dive into it. Now, I do apologize. The video is going to be super dark because the screen is so bright and I was playing around, but we'll get there. So to get into the new firmware, the new sequencer mode, you just push sequencer and then it brings you up to this menu, and we go edit, and then we go to multi-track and it changes the screen. And now you can see the screen is super duper bright and the rest of it is super dark. So I'm going to try and fix that, but we'll see how we go. We're presented with the track, the pattern and everything like that. So we want a fresh pattern. So what we're going to do is go pattern, and then you can see number 2's lit up, but we can go number 3, and that gives us just a blank. I have some drums, so we have something to play with, but nothing too crazy. And you can see we got our sequencer running through here. So what I'm going to do is just kind of dive in. We can create 4 tracks of synthesis and just sort of play around and see how it goes. So there's a couple of ways you can enter stuff in. Obviously, I've got it locked with the session, but also I have MIDI running into it, so you can kind of program things in that way. We're going to do both, so we can kind of see different ways to add in. And yes, you can add in chords, which is pretty cool. So what we're going to do is we'll just go to record, and then let's just start to add in some notes, and this is going to be sort of our bass sort of line. So you can just enter in the notes, the soft keys. Really, really basic stuff so far. We can come along. Just going to turn that cut off. This is just a generic initialized patch, so I want more of a square. Get some releaser. And obviously, if we want a baseline, we want it to be a lot lower. So we can come across to the menu here, and we'll go to octave. We'll go edit. Just down 3 octaves, and there we are. We've got something in that sort of bass register that we're after. Let's play around a little bit more, get it a little bit of drive there. Want a little bit of release because I want that sort of note to kind of carry on a little bit more. Just pulling just the level of the envelope down a little bit. And then let's add some effects in. Let's do something crazy. This is a chorus, but we can go, we'll go type, edit. Let's put a reverb on there. Live large. end amount. So we got something cooking up there. So what we want to do now is kind of go onto the next pattern. Sorry, the next track. It's very confusing to say that a pattern is the whole thing that encompasses all 4 tracks, but we want to go to a different track. So we can click with the overlay, we got track. We can see we got 1 selected, we'll go to 2. Now this is going to give us a new instrument. So if I was just to put in some notes here, you can hear that it's something different. So what we want to do is we're going to put in some chords for this one. So if I zoom out a little bit, and I've got my trusty little launch key MK4, and I've just got I've got this set in chord mode. So let's find a little synth patch that we can go with. I'm not going to kind of go too far into sound design because I've done a bunch of videos on sound design and this is all about the new firmware. So let's go load, go bank, and let's go keys. One thing that I would really like is when you're sort of in this mode, if you flick through that, it kind of gave you a little bit of an idea of what that sound is. But let's just go with, I don't know, Velveteen. Let's have a listen to that. That'll do. So let's So I can kind of hear that I want this to be 32 steps. I want the first one to be this A minor, and then kind of towards the back here, maybe the 15th step to be sort of an E minor. So let's push and hold down the 1. And there we go. And then 15 will be, let's see how that is. No, didn't get the last one there. So we have the pattern that we're after, but we want to change that to a 32 steps. So again, within the track, we can come across to length, and we got 16. We'll go edit, and we'll just change that to 32. And you can see you got page 1. Hopefully this shows up on the camera. Page 1, and then as we go over, it gives us 2 pages. And we go edit. I don't know why it did that, but we want there we go. Now we can come along, we have that in, we can dial this in a little bit with sound design. The bass is a little bit too over the top now, so we can go track over to the bass again. back to the track and back to 2. Just a little bit of release on there. Let's zoom this back in again. So now we have a nice little chord, and we have some bass from that first patch, or first track rather. So let's go track and go over to 3. And for this one, let's put in a little arpeggiated line. Well, something along that. It's going to be 16ths. But what we can do is, let's just go, let's turn on everything. Let's turn down the volume because I can already tell that's going to be too much. Let's go about 50-ish. And then to enter just the notes, you can see if we push and hold, it comes up with the steps. So you can do automation for everything across all the steps, but for us, we just want the root note. So we're going to just change that. We'll go to a G. One thing I would like is if you're in edit on the note sort of side of things, that it would just stay there, but I'm not sure how difficult that is to kind of program in. So we can, I'm just kind of putting in random notes. One nice and high there. Nah, let's go. So we have our notes in. We can find a little patch that we want for that. So we'll go load, bank. We'll go leads, enter. Classic Porter lead, and we'll go load, and we'll go edit. You need to turn that way down. Let's go a little bit more volume. So now we have 3 tracks in here, and one thing you can do is just go track and mute. Kind of when you're doing maybe a live session. So bring them all in again. And then for the 4th one, we're gonna add just a little effect in there. So for now, let's just mute the 3rd one because it's a little over the top. Actually, what we can do, let's unmute it. And then take the glide off, even though it's auto glide. That's a little bit better. It's kind of sitting in the mix a little bit more. So let's choose track 4, And for this one, we're going to do an effect, and then I can kind of show you the recording automation that can smooth out any effects or anything like that. So let's just do one note. So we'll go record. So we got the one note here. Let's go to load, bank, and effects. There we go. So we have our effect in here now. Let's just solo the Nina, and we'll solo just the effect. So you can hear that there. So one thing that we can do is we can put it into a record mode just to record any passes of anything. And you can do this for any of the functions, but for this, we're just going to do the cutoff just to kind of show you how it can be done. So we'll go record and run, and then we've recorded this cutoff now. And to see what automation that we have recorded, we can just hit animate, and we got the like little ghosting pot there. So this is all right, but again, this is happening way too often. So let's go to length, edit, we'll go 64. So now we have the one pattern, the one hit that's happening on the downbeat of every 4 bars. And then let's go to edit and just turn the volume down a little bit. There we go. So we can take this out of record mode, and then we're going to unmute all those. We'll unmute the drums. Turn that effect down a little bit more. And there you go. Once you kind of wrap your head around everything, the way that it kind of operates and just the little key presses, honestly, it took me like half an hour to kind of understand what was going on and how to get everything working together. But again, this is still in beta, so I assume there's going to be more improvements. But for me, I have been digging it so far. So let's go over the bass. Over to the arpeggiated line. We can mute the rest. I think that's pretty good. I'm really enjoying it. There's obviously, I'm just scratching the surface with what it can do, and we hadn't even gone into any of the sound design. One thing that I have been playing around with a little bit more is doing per step automation changes to get some crazy IDM sort of sounds, but It's been super fun. I'm really glad that they put in the effort and they've added this, because to me this has turned it into kind of a new instrument. So hopefully you've got something out of this video, and if you do have a Nina, I strongly suggest uploading the new beta, and hopefully this has inspired you to create something. And until next time, see you later.